Ethics is usually a bit strange word, but there isn't any other way to put it. Just how to behave correctly if we deal with translation and interpreting. There are quite a few, not a lot of rules for translation, for translators. First of all, it's confidentiality, not to disclose information to anyone. Of course, not to use the information you have, the documents you deal with, because people trust you with their personal documentation. So we shouldn't share it. I've heard a story about a girl who was not actually a translator, but she was asked to translate some passports and something, and she used the passport data for her own use, for her own good in some way. I thought, well, it's something that probably my students would never do. I like thinking so, because they were taught not to be so not trustworthy. Another thing I would include in the ethics is keeping to deadlines if you work with the clients or with the other colleagues, because it may be very important, and usually is. And of course, being honest with yourself, not to leave something not understood and translate somehow, not to make gaps, not to omit whole sentences or paragraphs to make it faster, and so on. It is very important, because actually reputation is all we have. We may lose everything, but knowledge and the skills and the reputation is always with us. So this is it. If I remember anything else about translation, I will tell you, but they are the main things. If we are talking about interpreting, there is a long list of what we shouldn't and what we should do. And first of all, it's being disciplined and coming to the meeting on time, and preferably 15 or 30 minutes before, because there may be some organizational questions to discuss with the organizers or anything. And they should know that their equipment in person of interpreter is there, and nothing will happen about that. Then, of course, respect clients and colleagues. If you ever interpret, work with another interpreter, doing consecutive or conference, simultaneous interpreting, then we should always remember that we work together, and if we agree to replace each other after 30-40 minutes or an hour, if it is consecutive interpreting, not to take over, not to interpret more, not to stop earlier. By respect to clients, I mean that we should remember that we are not in the center of attention. So we are helping, and people are communicating with each other, and interpreter is somebody to help. It doesn't mean that we don't matter. We matter, and we are of great importance. But there was an interesting story when I found an Italian interpreter for my Italian clients who couldn't speak English, and she seemed to be quite experienced, and according to her and according to her CV, but the way she was behaving told me that she was not, because she sat in the main seat at the table. She always came in the room first. She interrupted and or the speakers and overtook the conversation and tried to explain more than she should have. And in the end, she even returned and talked to the director of a big holding and demanded money that she was supposed to get afterwards from Italians. So all these things, that's disrespect to the client and absolutely unprofessional behavior. Why is it so bad? It's not because she had some attention. It's because it created confusion in the room. So they didn't know who were to talk to and who this woman was and what to and who makes decisions because in business the most important thing is to identify who really makes decisions. Then you'll see that interpreters usually get much more confidential information than translators. So they not only see documents, they also see all the processes, and they are insiders of ongoing negotiations. That so the information leaked from the middle of the process is much worse than the information leaked when everything has been decided already, and so on and so forth. So confidentiality is very important. I must tell you, after years of doing this job, I now see that even in everyday conversation, I think 3-4 times what I can and what I cannot tell other people about what I know. So I usually, this is, by the way, the disadvantage of the job. We know a lot, but we can tell very little. So we know this for ourselves. And I know I find it a bit frustrating sometimes. This is it. Then another thing is that there are some things like dress code and manner of behavior. You know, that a lot of events are long-lasting. I mean, they are not a couple of hours. Usually they are a day, 2 days, 5 days. And of course, there are moments when everybody seems to be relaxing, like having lunch or going for a walk. Unfortunately, they like to go in for a walk and having lunch all together, all people speaking different languages. So you have to learn how to eat and talk at the same time, because otherwise you just faint in the end of the day. Then very often, if it is also dinner, there is alcohol. So how much to drink, what to do, what not to do, and so on and so forth. There are all the ethical parts of the job that we should balance between, and we should remember that although there is a relaxed atmosphere, we are still at work. Another thing, and I think it is quite a big disadvantage of this kind of activity, is that if you are invited to a certain event and asked to interpret certain number of hours, I never plan anything for after that, because it can be longer, and I don't remember any of my colleagues stand up and go. Sometimes, you know, not sometimes, quite a lot of my experienced colleagues now make sure that if the time is from 9 to 5, there is nothing after 5. And if there is anything planned, they should be informed and, of course, paid for this period of time. So it's important to ask anyway.